The vast expanse of space had always beckoned humanity, but for centuries, Earth had kept its true capabilities hidden from the stars. As the year 2157 dawned, humanity's carefully crafted facade was about to be put to the ultimate test. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the CSS Deception, Earth's most advanced starship disguised as a primitive exploration vessel. Her crew, handpicked for this mission, maintained a tense silence as they approached the edge of the solar system. Their task: to make first contact with an alien civilization while keeping humanity's true technological prowess hidden. Incoming transmission, Captain, reported Communications Officer Jared Chen, his fingers dancing across a holographic interface cleverly concealed as an antiquated control panel. Elena took a deep breath. "This is it, people. Remember your training. We're just a fledgling spacefaring species taking our first steps into the galaxy." She nodded to Chen. "Put it through." A shimmering hologram materialized in the center of the bridge, revealing a tall, willowy alien with iridescent skin and 4 arms. Its large, multifaceted eyes blinked in rapid succession as it took in the human crew. "Greetings, beings of the third planet." The alien's melodious voice reverberated through the ship's speakers. "I am Ambassador Zixloria of the Galactic Confederation. We have been observing your world for some time and deemed it appropriate to make contact." Elena stepped forward, her posture deliberately hesitant. I am Captain Elena Rodriguez of Earth. We're honored to meet you, Ambassador. This is our first encounter with extraterrestrial life." Zixloria's head tilted, a gesture that seemed to convey curiosity. "Fascinating. Your species has achieved faster than light travel, yet you claim this is your first encounter." "We've only recently developed this technology," Elena lied smoothly. "Our ship uses a rudimentary warp drive, barely capable of reaching the nearest star systems." The alien's eyes narrowed almost imperceptibly. "I see. Well, Captain Rodriguez, on behalf of the Galactic Confederation, I extend an invitation to your species to join us in the greater community of spacefaring civilizations." As Elena engaged in diplomatic pleasantries with Zixloria, her executive officer, Commander Aiden Frost, discreetly analyzed the alien ship. His augmented reality contact lenses, indistinguishable from normal human eyes, fed him a constant stream of data. "Their technology is impressive," Aiden murmured into a subvocal communicator, "but not as advanced as we initially feared. Estimate: 200 years behind our current level." Elena acknowledged the information with a subtle hand gesture as she continued her conversation with the ambassador. "We're honored by your invitation, Zixloria. However, we're a cautious species. Would it be possible for us to send a small delegation to learn more about the Galactic Confederation before committing?" The alien skin shimmered with what Elena interpreted as amusement. "Of course, Captain. We understand the need for caution in such matters. I will transmit coordinates for a neutral meeting ground where representatives from various civilizations gather. You may send your delegation there." As the transmission ended, the bridge crew let out a collective breath. Elena turned to her team, her eyes gleaming with determination. Phase 1 complete. Now, we prepare for the real test. Over the next few weeks, Earth's hidden government, known as the Terran Concilium, worked tirelessly to prepare a delegation that would represent humanity as a seemingly naive and technologically inferior species. Diplomats were trained to act awestruck by alien technology. Scientists were coached to ask rudimentary questions, and a small contingent of soldiers was prepared to appear primitive compared to the advanced weaponry they would undoubtedly encounter. Meanwhile, deep beneath the surface of Mars, the true might of humanity's military force stirred. General Zhang Wei stood in the command center of the Ares complex, surrounded by holographic displays showing the status of Earth's hidden fleets and weapon systems. "Status report," Zhang barked, his cybernetic eye scanning the data streams faster than any human could comprehend. Colonel Samantha Evans, his second in command, stepped forward. "All systems are go, sir." The quantum entanglement network is stable, allowing instantaneous communication across our hidden bases throughout the solar system. The Phantom Drive on all ships is fully operational, ready to deploy our forces anywhere in the galaxy at a moment's notice. Zhang nodded, his expression grim. And the Lazarus Protocol. Samantha's voice lowered. Primed and ready, sir. If the worst should happen, we can evacuate the entire human population to our backup colonies in alternate dimensions within hours. The general turned to gaze at a holographic representation of the Milky Way. Scattered throughout the galaxy were pulsing red dots, indicating the positions of various alien civilizations. A single blue dot, representing Earth, pulsed steadily at the edge of one of the spiral arms. Humanity has hidden in the shadows for centuries, Zhang mused. We've watched countless alien civilizations rise and fall, always staying one step ahead. But now, we're about to step onto the galactic stage. Samantha nodded. Do you think they suspect anything, sir? Zhang's cybernetic eye whirred as it focused on the hologram. If they do, they're in for one hell of a surprise. Humanity didn't survive the machine wars and the Cronus incursion by being unprepared. As the delegation prepared to depart for the neutral meeting ground, Alina found herself in a secure briefing room with the highest-ranking members of the Terran Concilium. The room, shielded against all known forms of surveillance, hummed with barely contained energy. Dr. Aisha Patel, the lead scientist of Project Prometheus, addressed the group. Remember, the technology you'll be showcasing is centuries behind our actual capabilities. The warp drive on your ship is deliberately inefficient. Your weapons are laughably weak by our standards, and your defensive systems are practically non-existent. Elena nodded, her mind racing with the complexities of the deception they were about to undertake. What's our endgame here? How long do we maintain this charade? High Counselor Marcus Blackwood, his aged face belying the youthful gleam in his eyes, leaned forward. As long as necessary, Captain. We need to assess the true intentions of the Galactic Confederation. Are they benevolent, conquerors, or something in between? Your mission is to gather intelligence while presenting humanity as a non-threat. And if they decide we're ripe for conquest? Elena asked, voicing the concern that had been nagging at her since the mission began. Marcus smiled, a predatory gleam in his eye. Then they'll learn why humanity has survived every catastrophe thrown our way. We didn't hide our true nature out of fear, Captain. We did it because the galaxy isn't ready for what we've become. As the meeting concluded, Elena felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. She would be the face of humanity to the stars, playing the role of a naive explorer while hiding the truth of Earth's incredible advancements. Little did the Galactic Confederation know they weren't making first contact with a fledgling civilization. They were poking a slumbering giant, one that had spent centuries preparing for this very moment. As the CSS Deception prepared to depart, carrying Earth's delegation to the stars, humanity held its breath. The greatest deception in galactic history was about to unfold, and the fate of Earth hung in the balance. The galactic stage. The CSS Deception glided silently through the void, its primitive exterior belying the advanced technology hidden within. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood at the helm, her eyes fixed on the swirling vortex of a wormhole that would take them to the neutral meeting ground. Behind her, the Earth delegation fidgeted in their seats, each member acutely aware of the weight of their mission. Entering wormhole in 3, 2, 1, announced the pilot, his fingers dancing across controls that were far more sophisticated than they appeared. The ship shuddered as it entered the wormhole, a carefully choreographed display of technological limitations for any watching eyes. In reality, the inertial dampeners were working overtime to simulate the turbulence of early warp technology. As they emerged on the other side, a collective gasp echoed through the bridge. Before them lay a massive space station, its gleaming spires and interconnected modules forming a structure larger than any city on Earth. Ships of various designs and sizes swarmed around it like bees around a hive. Welcome to Nexus Prime, Ambassador Zixloria's voice crackled over the comms. The heart of galactic diplomacy and the seat of the Confederation Council. Elena exchanged glances with her XO, Commander Aiden Frost. Their unspoken communication conveyed volumes. Showtime. As the CSS Deception approached the docking bay, Elena activated the ship's outward-facing sensors, which were deliberately calibrated to appear less advanced than they truly were. The data they gathered, however, was being processed by quantum computers hidden deep within the ship's core, analyzing every aspect of the alien technology they encountered. The docking procedure was another carefully orchestrated dance of apparent clumsiness. The ship's thrusters sputtered and flared, making the approach seem difficult and unrefined. As they finally settled into the docking clamps, Elena allowed herself a small smile. Phase 2 of humanity's grand deception had begun. The Earth delegation stepped onto Nexus Prime with expressions of wide-eyed wonder carefully painted on their faces. Dr. Lydia Chen, the team's xenobiologist, gasped audibly at the sight of various alien species mingling in the arrival hall. Her reaction was genuine. Despite humanity's secret advancements, this was indeed their first direct contact with multiple alien civilizations. Ambassador Zixloria greeted them, flanked by representatives from other species. "Welcome to Nexus Prime, esteemed delegates of Earth. We have prepared accommodations for you and arranged a series of introductory meetings with key members of the Confederation." As they were led through the sprawling station, the humans played their parts to perfection. They marveled at technology that, in reality, was centuries behind what Earth possessed. They asked questions that seemed profound to their hosts, but were laughably basic by human standards. All the while, their neural implants recorded every detail, every conversation, every fleeting expression on alien faces. In a private moment, Elena conferred with her team. Initial assessment. She subvocalized, the words picked up by microscopic sensors in her larynx and transmitted securely to her crew's neural implants. "Their technological development is uneven," Dr. Chen replied silently. "Advanced in some areas, surprisingly backward in others. No sign of dimensional manipulation or quantum entanglement communication. Military capabilities seem formidable by conventional standards," added Security Chief Ravi Patil. "Energy weapons, force fields, faster than light travel. But nothing we can't handle." Elena nodded imperceptibly. "Keep up the act. We need to gauge their intentions." Over the next few days, the Earth delegation attended a whirlwind of meetings, presentations, and social gatherings. They were introduced to representatives from dozens of alien civilizations, each with their own agenda and perspective on the newcomers from the backwater planet called Earth. During a lavish reception, Elena found herself cornered by Drakthor, a hulking reptilian being who served as the military advisor to the Confederation Council. His scales shimmered with an oily iridescence as he loomed over her, sharp teeth bared in what might have been a smile. "So, little human," Drakthor rumbled, his translator struggling to convey the condescension in his tone. "I hear your species has only recently achieved faster-than-light travel." How quaint. Elena fought to keep her expression neutral, suppressing the urge to reveal that humanity had mastered FTL travel centuries ago. "Yes, it's all very new and exciting for us. We're eager to learn from more advanced civilizations like yours." Drakthor's eyes narrowed. "Learn, yes, but remember your place in the galactic order. There are protocols for emerging species, resources to be shared, technologies to be exchanged." His clawed hand came to rest heavily on Elena's shoulder. "Protection to be offered." The implied threat was clear, and Elena felt a surge of anger. She tamped it down, maintaining her facade of wide-eyed innocence. Protection. From what exactly? The reptilian's laugh was like grinding stones. "Oh, my dear Captain. The galaxy is a dangerous place for young, vulnerable species. Predators lurk in the dark between stars. Without the Confederation's guidance and protection, who knows what might become of Earth?" As Drakthor lumbered away, satisfied that he had made his point, Elena's hand clenched around her drink. The glass, made of a material far stronger than it appeared, didn't shatter, but it was a close thing. Later, in the privacy of their quarters, the Earth delegation convened to discuss their findings. The room had been swept for surveillance devices, and a quantum field generator hummed softly, ensuring their conversations remained private. "They're playing us," Ravi growled, pacing the room. "All this talk of peace and cooperation, but I've seen the way some of them look at us. Like we're prey." Dr. Chen nodded solemnly. "I've been analyzing their historical records. The Confederation has a pattern of integrating younger species. It often ends with those species becoming little more than vassals or client states." Elena leaned back, her mind racing. So that's their game. They see us as an easy target, a civilization they can exploit under the guise of protection and mentorship. "Should we reveal our true capabilities?" Aiden asked, his cybernetic eye whirring as it processed various scenarios. "Show them that we're not the easy prey they think we are." Elena shook her head. "Not yet. We need more information. If we show our hand too soon, we risk turning the entire Confederation against us. For now, we play along, gather intelligence, and report back to Earth." As the meeting concluded, Elena stepped out onto the balcony of their quarters, gazing at the star-filled vista before her. Somewhere out there, Earth was preparing for any eventuality. Hidden fleets lay in wait, cloaked by technology that made them invisible even to the advanced sensors of Nexus Prime. Weapon systems that could reshape reality itself stood ready, a last line of defense should diplomacy fail. Elena's communicator chirped softly, indicating a secure transmission from Earth. She activated it, and the holographic form of High Counselor Marcus Blackwood materialized before her. "Report, Captain," Marcus said without preamble. Elena quickly summarized their findings, concluding with, "Sir, I believe the Confederation sees us as a potential conquest, not an equal partner." Marcus's expression hardened. "As we suspected, your mission remains unchanged, Captain. Continue the deception, gather more intelligence. We need to know everything. Their military capabilities, the full extent of their territory, any weaknesses we can exploit if it comes to conflict. And if they make a move against Earth while we're here." Elena asked, voicing the concern that had been gnawing at her. A cold smile played across Marcus's lips. "Let them try. Operation Lazarus is primed and ready. If they push us, they'll learn why humanity has survived every calamity that's befallen us. The galaxy thinks it's making first contact with a young, naive species. In reality, they're provoking a sleeping giant." As the transmission ended, Elena turned her gaze back to the stars. The CSS deception may have appeared primitive, but in reality, it was one of the most advanced warships ever created. With a thought, she could activate weapon systems that would reduce Nexus Prime to atoms. But that wasn't the mission. Not yet. For now, humanity would continue its greatest deception. They would play the part of the eager, naive newcomers to galactic society. They would smile and nod at the condescension, accept the thinly veiled threats with wide-eyed innocence. And all the while, they would prepare. Because if the Galactic Confederation decided to bare its teeth, it would find that Earth's bite was far, far worse than its bark. The invasion begins. The tension in the air was palpable as Captain Elena Rodriguez stood before the Confederation Council. Weeks had passed since their arrival at Nexus Prime, and the facade of wide-eyed wonderment had begun to wear thin. The Earth delegation had played their parts to perfection, but the predatory gleam in the eyes of certain council members told Elena that the charade was coming to an end. Esteemed representatives of Earth, began Arch-Counselor Genva, a being of pure energy contained within an ornate crystalline structure. "We have deliberated long on your petition to join the Galactic Confederation. It is the decision of this council that your species is not yet ready for full membership." Elena feigned disappointment, though inwardly she was alert for any sign of the true intentions behind this announcement. "We understand. Arch-Counselor, may we ask what criteria we have failed to meet?" Drakthor, the reptilian military advisor, stepped forward, his scales glinting menacingly under the chamber's lights. It's quite simple, really. Your technology is primitive, your military might laughable. You would be a burden to the Confederation, not an asset. However, Genva continued, its voice carrying a false note of benevolence, we are not without mercy. The Confederation is willing to extend its protection to your world. In exchange, Earth will become a protectorate, under our guidance, supervision. The implications were clear. Earth was being offered vassalage, not partnership. Alina straightened her back, her voice steady as she responded. This is a significant decision that affects the future of our entire species. We would need to consult with our government before. I'm afraid time is of the essence, interrupted Drakthor, a predatory smile revealing rows of sharp teeth. Our fleet is already en route to your solar system. They will arrive within days to secure your planet's safety. The mask of civility had finally dropped. Alina's mind raced, calculating options, potential responses, the likely capabilities of the incoming fleet, but she maintained her outward appearance of shock and fear. This is highly irregular. We came in peace, seeking friendship. And friendship you shall have. Genve interjected smoothly. Under our wise guidance, Earth will flourish. Resist, and, well, let us say that not all species who have refused our generous offer have survived to regret their decision. As the council chamber erupted into a cacophony of voices, some protesting the heavy-handed approach, others supporting it, Alina and her team were escorted back to their quarters. The moment the door closed behind them, they sprang into action. Activate Protocol Omega, Alina commanded, her voice now sharp with authority. The room's hidden systems hummed to life, quantum encryptions ensuring their communications would remain undetected. Time to shed this act and show them what humanity is really capable of. Aiden asked, a hint of eagerness in his voice. Alina shook her head. Not yet. We need to warn Earth, give them time to prepare. The Confederation doesn't know about our hidden defenses, and we need to keep it that way for as long as possible. Dr. Chen's fingers flew across a holographic interface, inputting complex equations. I've analyzed their FTL capabilities. Based on the data we've gathered, their fleet will reach Earth in approximately 72 hours. More than enough time, Alina nodded. She turned to Ravi. Security status. The burly security chief grinned. Our primitive ship is ready for a jailbreak, Captain. Weapons and shields are fully operational, just waiting for your command. Alina took a deep breath, centering herself for what was to come. All right, team. Here's the plan. We're going to make a break for it, but not too cleanly. We need to maintain the illusion of technological inferiority for as long as possible. Ravi, I want you to rig some explosives. Make them look crude, but ensure they'll be effective enough to cover our escape. As her team rushed to prepare, Alina established a secure quantum link with Earth. The holographic form of High Counselor, Marcus Blackwood, materialized, his expression grim. We've received your data burst, Captain, Marcus said without preamble. Operation Shadowfall is already underway. By the time their fleet arrives, they'll find an Earth very different from what they're expecting. Alina nodded. Sir, request permission to execute the Trojan Horse Protocol. Marcus raised an eyebrow. You're sure? Once activated, there's no going back. The Confederation will know we've been deceiving them. They're already moving against us, sir, Alina replied firmly. The Trojan Horse will give us a critical advantage when the real battle begins. After a moment's consideration, Marcus nodded. Permission granted, Captain. Give them hell. As the transmission ended, Alina turned to her team. All right, people. It's time to remind the galaxy why humanity has survived every catastrophe thrown our way. Let's move. The next few hours were a blur of controlled chaos. Crude but effective explosives were planted at key points around their quarters and the nearby docking bay. The CSS Deception, still maintaining its facade of primitive design, was prepped for emergency departure. When the alarms finally blared through Nexus Prime, signaling the Earth delegation's escape attempt, Alina allowed herself a grim smile. The real battle for humanity's future was about to begin. The CSS Deception burst from its docking bay in a shower of sparks and debris, its engine sputtering and flaring in a convincing display of desperation. Confederation ships scrambled to intercept, their superior speed and maneuverability quickly closing the gap. "Weapons range in 30 seconds, Captain," Ravi reported, his hands dancing across the tactical controls. Alina nodded. "Prepare to drop the mask. On my mark, activate all systems. Let's show them what this ship can really do." As the first Confederation energy beams lanced out towards the fleeing Earth vessel, Alina gave the command, "Mark." In an instant, the CSS Deception's outward appearance shimmered and changed. The battered hull smoothed into sleek, black material that seemed to drink in the light. Weapon ports appeared where none had been before. The stuttering engines flared with new life, propelling the ship forward at impossible speeds. "By the cosmic core," gasped a Confederation commander as he watched the transformation. "What manner of deception is this?" Before the stunned Confederation forces could react, the CSS Deception unleashed a barrage of weaponry unlike anything they had ever encountered. Quantum-tipped missiles phased through shields as if they weren't there. Temporal disruptors caused entire sections of enemy ships to age centuries in seconds. As they burst out of the Nexus Prime system, leaving a trail of disabled Confederation ships in their wake, Alina turned to her communications officer. "Transmit the Trojan Horse activation code to all our hidden assets in Confederation space." Across the galaxy, dormant quantum entanglement nodes sprang to life. Backdoors in Confederation systems that had lain undetected for years activated, flooding their networks with conflicting information. Stealth probes that had mapped every inch of Confederation space began transmitting their data directly to Earth's defense systems. In the span of a few hours, humanity had gone from apparent prey to a force that threatened the very foundations of the Galactic Confederation. As the CSS Deception raced towards Earth, pushing its advanced engines to their limits, Alina knew that they were hurtling towards a confrontation that would reshape the galaxy. The Confederation fleet was still en route to Earth, unaware that their easy conquest had just become a potential trap. "Status report," Alina commanded, her voice steady despite the gravity of their situation. Aiden's cybernetic eye whirred as he processed incoming data. "The Trojan Horse Protocol is exceeding expectations, Captain. Confederation communications are in disarray. Their fleet is struggling to maintain formation as conflicting orders flood their systems." Dr. Chen looked up from her station, excitement evident in her voice. "Captain, I'm detecting massive energy signatures from the Sol system. It appears Operation Shadowfall is in full effect." Alina allowed herself a small smile. Earth was no longer hiding. As the Confederation fleet approached, they would find not a vulnerable planet ripe for conquest, but a solar system bristling with defenses beyond their comprehension. The real battle for humanity's place in the galaxy was about to begin, and Alina knew one thing with absolute certainty. The Galactic Confederation had no idea what they had just unleashed. Humanity unleashed. The CSS Deception burst into the Sol system, its advanced stealth systems rendering it nearly invisible to conventional sensors. Captain Alina Rodriguez's eyes widened as she took in the transformation of humanity's home system. Where once there had been only a handful of planets and countless asteroids, now a vast, shimmering network of energy fields and massive structures filled the space between worlds. Earth itself was encased in a gossamer-thin shield that pulsed with otherworldly energy. "Operation Shadowfall is complete," announced General John Wei, his holographic form materializing on the bridge. "Welcome home, Captain Rodriguez. I trust your mission was illuminating." Helena nodded, a grim smile playing across her lips. "The Confederation took the bait, General. Their fleet is on its way, expecting an easy conquest. They're in for one hell of a surprise. As if on cue, alarms blared across the ship. Multiple FTL signatures detected. Aiden called out, "Confederation fleet incoming." The space around the outer edges of the solar system rippled as hundreds of Confederation warships dropped out of faster-than-light travel. Their formation was ragged, clearly affected by the chaos sown by the Trojan Horse Protocol. On the lead Confederation dreadnought, Admiral Krovac of the Greek-Harvan Empire stared in disbelief at the sensor readings. Where their intelligence had promised a primitive system with minimal defenses, they now faced a bristling array of technology that defied comprehension. "What trickery is this?" Krovac snarled, his tentacles writhing in agitation. "Where is the weak, helpless planet we were promised?" Before any of his officers could respond, a transmission cut across all frequencies. The holographic image of High Counselor Marcus Blackwood appeared on every ship in the Confederation fleet. "Greetings, would-be conquerors." Marcus's voice was calm, almost amused. "I'm afraid there's been a bit of a misunderstanding. You see, Earth is neither weak nor helpless. We've been watching the galaxy for centuries, preparing for this very moment." Admiral Krovac's eyes narrowed. "You dare to threaten the might of the Galactic Confederation. Your deceptions will not save you. We will crush your pathetic defenses and—" Marcus's laughter cut him off. "Crush our defenses? My dear Admiral, you haven't even seen our defenses yet. Allow me to give you a demonstration." At that moment, the space between the Confederation fleet and Earth seemed to twist. Massive structures phased into existence, orbital defense platforms that dwarfed even the largest Confederation dreadnoughts. "Fire at will." General Zhang's voice echoed across the human fleet. What followed was a display of firepower that would be spoken of in hushed whispers across the galaxy for centuries to come. Beams of coherent light, each capable of cutting a planet in half, lanced out from the defense platforms. Confederation ships that were hit simply ceased to exist, their atoms scattered across space. Swarms of automated drones, each no larger than a human fist, darted between the larger ships. They phased through shields and hulls as if they weren't there, targeting critical systems with surgical precision. Admiral Krovac watched in horror as a full third of his fleet was decimated in mere minutes. "Impossible," he whispered. "No species could have developed such technology in secret." On the bridge of the CSS Deception, Elena allowed herself a moment of grim satisfaction before issuing her next command. "Deploy the chronospheres." Sleek black orbs launched from hidden bays across the human fleet. As they approached the Confederation ships, they expanded, enveloping entire battle groups in shimmering fields of temporal energy. Inside these fields, time itself became a weapon. Some ships aged millennia in seconds, their hulls crumbling to dust. Others found themselves trapped in temporal loops, doomed to experience the same moments of terror over and over again. "This is madness," Krovac roared, watching his mighty armada fall to weapons he couldn't even begin to comprehend. "All ships, retreat, fall back to." His words were cut short as a quantum-tipped missile phased through the dreadnought's shields and hull, detonating at its core. The flagship of the Confederation fleet vanished in a silent explosion, leaving behind only a cloud of rapidly dispersing particles. As the remains of the Confederation fleet frantically tried to escape, they found their FTL drives inoperable. The entire solar system had been encased in a null space field, preventing faster-than-light travel. Elena's voice, translated into every language used by the Confederation, echoed across the battlefield. "Your invasion has failed. Your fleet is in ruins. But humanity does not seek your destruction. We offer you this one chance. Surrender, and we will show you the mercy that you would have denied us." For several tense moments, silence reigned. Then, one by one, the remaining Confederation ships powered down their weapons. The greatest armada the galaxy had ever seen had been defeated in less than an hour. As the human fleet moved to secure the surrendered ships, Elena turned to her crew. "Well done, everyone. But this was just the beginning. The real work starts now." General Zhang's hologram nodded in agreement. Indeed, Captain. The Galactic Confederation will not take this defeat lightly. We've revealed our hand, and now we must be prepared for the consequences. Alina's eyes turned to the view screen, where the glittering expanse of human defenses stretched out before her. Let them come, she said softly. Humanity has hidden in the shadows for too long. It's time we took our place on the galactic stage. As the CSS Deception docked with one of the massive orbital platforms, Alina knew that the galaxy would never be the same. Humanity had emerged from its self-imposed isolation, not as the primitive species the Confederation had expected, but as a force that could reshape the very fabric of the cosmos. The age of deception was over. The era of human ascendancy had begun. A new era dawns. The great hall of the Terran Concilium buzzed with activity. Representatives from every corner of human space had gathered to discuss the future of their species in the wake of their decisive victory over the Galactic Confederation. At the center of it all stood Captain Alina Rodriguez, now hailed as a hero of humanity. High Counselor Marcus Blackwood called the assembly to order, his voice carrying across the vast chamber. Fellow humans, we stand at a crossroads. For centuries, we have hidden our true nature from the galaxy. Now we have revealed ourselves in the most dramatic way possible. The question before us is simple. What do we do next? Alina stepped forward, her expression resolute. We've shown the galaxy it we're not to be trifled with. But brute force alone won't secure our future. We need to establish ourselves as a force for stability and progress in the galaxy. Dr. Lydia Chen, the xenobiologist who had been part of the original diplomatic mission, spoke up. I agree. Our advanced technology gives us an unprecedented opportunity to solve problems that have plagued other species for millennia. We could cure diseases, terraform barren worlds, even stabilize dying stars. General John Wei, his cybernetic eye gleaming, offered a counterpoint. While I agree that we should extend a hand in peace, we must remain vigilant. The Confederation's defeat will not go unanswered. Other powers in the galaxy may see us as a threat to be eliminated. The debate raged on for hours, with impassioned arguments from all sides. In the end, a consensus began to emerge. Humanity would step onto the galactic stage not as conquerors, but as peacekeepers and innovators. Months passed, and the galaxy watched in a mixture of awe and trepidation as humanity began to make its mark. On the war-torn world of Nexthor, human terraforming technology transformed a barren, radiation-scorched wasteland into a lush paradise in a matter of weeks. Billions of refugees, displaced by centuries of conflict, found a new home and a new hope. In the Andromeda Galaxy, a human expedition used their advanced propulsion systems to divert a rogue planet that had been on a collision course with an inhabited world, saving trillions of lives. The Merizeri Collective, a species on the brink of extinction due to a genetic disorder, wept with joy as human geneticists presented them with a cure, ensuring the continuation of their civilization. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Pockets of resistance emerged, species and factions that saw humanity's rapid rise as a threat to the established order. On the fringes of known space, a coalition of anti-human forces gathered, amassing a fleet that dwarfed even the one that had attacked Earth. Led by the remnants of the Confederation military, and bolstered by opportunistic warlords and zealots, they prepared to launch a final, desperate assault to check humanity's growing influence. Alina found herself once again on the bridge of the CSS Deception, facing down an enemy armada. But this time, she wasn't alone. Beside her stood Admiral Zix Loria, the very same alien who had first contacted humanity, now an ally and friend. They never learn, do they? Zix Loria mused, his iridescent skin shimmering with anticipation. Alina shook her head, a small smile playing on her lips. Change is never easy, but we're not here to conquer or destroy. We're here to build a better future for all species. As the enemy fleet approached, Alina gave the order not to fire. Instead, she opened a channel to the entire armada. This is Captain Elena Rodriguez of Earth. We know why you're here. You're afraid. Afraid of change. Afraid of the unknown. We were once like you, hiding our true selves out of fear of the galaxy. But we've learned that greatness comes not from domination, but from cooperation. She paused, letting her words sink in. We could destroy this fleet with a thought, but that's not why we're here. We're extending an invitation. Join us. Help us build a galaxy where no species needs to live in fear, where the wonders of the universe are open to all. For a tense moment, silence reigned. Then, one by one, ships began to power down their weapons. The coalition that had formed to destroy humanity began to dissolve as its members realized the futility of their mission and the truth of Elena's words. In the years that followed, humanity's influence continued to grow, not through force, but through diplomacy and shared progress. The Galactic Confederation was reformed, with Earth as a key member, guiding the galaxy towards a new age of exploration and discovery. Elena, now Admiral Rodriguez, stood on the observation deck of Nexus Prime, gazing out at the star-filled vista. Beside her stood representatives from 100 different species, all working together to chart the future of their shared galaxy. You know, Zixloria said, joining her at the window. When I first contacted your ship, I thought I was meeting a young, naive species taking its first steps into the galactic community. Elena chuckled. And instead, you found a sleeping giant. Indeed, the alien nodded. But what amazes me most is not your technology or your military might. It's your vision. You had the power to dominate the galaxy, yet you chose to nurture it instead. Elena's eyes twinkled as she replied. That's the thing about humanity, my friend. We've survived every catastrophe, every challenge, not just because of our strength or our intelligence, but because of our ability to adapt, to see possibilities where others see only obstacles. As they watched, a massive ship unlike any the galaxy had ever seen before emerged from a swirling vortex. It was the culmination of human ingenuity and multi-species cooperation, the first of a new class of vessels designed to explore beyond the boundaries of the known universe. The Infinity Seeker, Elena breathed, a sense of wonder in her voice. Humanity's gift to the galaxy. With this ship, we'll explore further than any species has ever gone before. As the magnificent vessel began its maiden voyage, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of countless civilizations, Elena reflected on the journey that had brought them to this point. From a species hiding its true nature out of fear, to the architects of a new galactic age of peace and discovery, the human empire was no longer hidden. It stood proudly at the forefront of galactic civilization, not as conquerors, but as guides and protectors. And as the Infinity Seeker vanished into the unknown, Elena knew that the greatest adventures, for humanity and for the galaxy, were just beginning. The era of secrecy was over. The age of unity had dawned, and the universe would never be the same again.